In a small town where the mountains climb, Tiff and the Punisher fight through time against a force that's cold and cruel, trying to save the family's golden rule. In the snowy reach of Alaskan nights, Spanish stands tall for everyone's rights, with the Constitution as her guiding star, fighting for justice no matter how far. They won't let our families break, holding strong for justice's sake. With every word and every stand, they fight for the freedom of this land. CPS tries to sweep them away, but Tiff and the Punisher are here to stay, reading those rights with hearts so pure, standing their ground so fearless and sure. Spanish voice echoes through frozen air. For every family, she's always there, with a heart full of fire and a mind so clear, fights for what's right, so we have no fear. They won't let our families break, holding strong for justice's sake. With every word and every stand, they fight for the freedom of this land.
They are taking our kids every day. I shout them in and no one has a thing to say. For those who have been isolated, don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call. They want our kids because they feel it. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them, but when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeve. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, god damn it. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up like thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. Give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows, and the only games you play are on Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stopping.
Timu, $5. Right here, baby. Right here. Yep. It's got the Constitution, American flag, the whole 9 yards.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to get one of those.
Yep, $5. Can't get it wrong.
Nope.
Nope. All right. Oh, Mr. Ludwig is anywhere with us right now.
Oh, well, let's bring him on.
All right. This is great. All right. All right. You can do the intro to him. Here we go. Mr. Ludwig. He's made it.
Yeah, how you doing?
We're doing
Hi.
good.
Are we live
Where's
yet,
he
or are we
at?
still in?
Yeah, we're in. We just started. We just started right now.
Okay.
We just ended our song and we're here. So how are we doing, Tiff? You want to do a little intro?
Well, I've been following him on Facebook, and then I watched a documentary on YouTube, and I said, "Oh my God, that's the guy on my Facebook page. We need to get him on our channel." So we've been talking back and forth for about a month, and he finally made some time. And I believe he does parent alienation. And I'll let him talk about that. But he also deals with the family courts too. So I wanted to get him on to see what his perspective was, because just like CPS, the judges and the other parents are doing the exact same thing all together at once. So I'm gonna mute myself because the baby's out here.
You're also big on Mr. Ludwig. You're also big on fathers' rights too, correct? Like that's one of your big like a fathers' rights movement type deal.
Yeah, my big put, obviously, from a guy's perspective, it's considered fathers, but I primarily fight for the kids, so that
Right.
kids of separation or divorce have equal access to both parents. But since it does affect men at 83% of the cases, people perceive it as more of a father's rights type issue. But yeah, I deal with everything from this year. I have legislation in 31 states, and that's why I apologize for being so busy. But I've got 120 pieces of legislation, and to put that into perspective, most professional lobbyists that make say $200,000 a year will work on about 10 to 15 pieces of legislation in 2 or 3 states at the most. And I'm driving for Uber and trying to work on 120 pieces of legislation in 31 states, while I'm still working in DC. And then I've, on the ALEC, American Legislative Exchange Council. It's the largest group of state senators and state reps around the country. I'm on their Model Policy Task Force. I'm part of the National Association of Christian Lawmakers. I'm on the Phyllis Schlafly Eagle Council. So unbelievably busy at this point, and all while doing it on a Uber salary.
Wow. And then how do you have time for that? We used to actually do a show. We called it oh my gosh, I'm on the brain crab here. Men in Trenches. And what we did there, it was a reach out to a place for fathers to have a voice in this, because it's crazy. People don't realize the damage. And I know it's for the children and it's for the single women that, are dealing with this stuff with CPS, but the damage that's done to a father that's stripped and removed from his home is incredible. Between the notion of being worthless because you can't be the protectorate anymore, like you feel like you don't stand, your purpose of being on this earth is to be a father, to be a protectorate, and CPS completely strips that from you, and it's hard. It's hard as a man to go back and look your family in the eye after they've taken your child and there was nothing you could do about it. Like in the wild, this doesn't happen. Only with us here that stand on two legs does this happen, because in the wild, if they go and try to mess with the cubs of the family, what happens, but we're the only species that allows someone with a badge and no education to come and take our kids away from us and do nothing. So it's very hard, in that realm of being a dad, to be a man still, with what CPS is doing. So thank you for doing the stuff that you're doing with that stuff.
In the family court system, they, people always talk about the 22 suicides a day with veterans. What they don't say is 14 of those 22 suicides every day are from veterans who came back and found out that their kids were taken away through a family court situation. But 14 of those 22 suicides a day were family court related. And I know the situation. If I wasn't a Christian, I would have been one of those statistics. When you, in many cases, you get blindsided because the person that you thought you loved found out that, in many cases they were living a double life. And then you get, and then you get the double whammy is not only did you lose that person, but you don't get to grieve about that because now you have to fight for your kids at the same time. And it is very depressing. You go through a fight, the tear on your body is unbelievable. It's a form of PTSD, a very, very strong form of PTSD. And the sense of loneliness, because as a man, you're taught to suck it up. And so you can't whine and complain, or people look at you like, what's wrong with you? Get on with your life. Right. So for most guys, I know myself, I was very active in St. Louis. I was on the board of directors of some pretty prominent organization. I had a political career that was, I was expected and to be a potential candidate for governor for the state of Missouri at some point. And I lost all desire for everything. I just wanted to be a dad. So I quit all the organizations. I quit all of my board of directors. I quit everything that I did. And I sat on the couch and cried every single night. And you lose all sense of hope. But most guys end up bottling it up and withdrawing. And it's the worst thing you could do. I always encourage guys that if you're going through this, find a Bible study, find some group to connect with, to have some kind of human interaction. Otherwise, because normally when you're sitting by yourself, you're usually not thinking positive thoughts. You're thinking about all the negatives and you're missing your kids. You got to have somebody to connect with that'll keep your mind occupied with something else. And for me, that's why I started getting involved legislatively. Is it was a way for me to channel my efforts instead of being bitter and angry at my ex. I'm not really worried about her. I'm worried about making sure that my son doesn't go through the same thing that I went through. So I channeled my efforts in a positive direction, trying to get legislative change. And we've made some change so far. There's 10 different laws that we've passed in 9 different states so far, and it's been fun to be a part of that. But we've got a lot more coming this year.
That's so great. Are you finding people accepting the legislation that you're putting through and they're understanding it, or are you finding people that are like, what is this guy even talking about? I don't even realize that this is an issue.
Well, and that's it. Is unfortunately in the shared parenting community, we've been speaking in an echo chamber to people that have already been affected by it. And I always tell people, serious change won't happen until people who are unaffected become aware and just as concerned as those of us who have been affected. But I know myself, 15 years ago, if somebody would have told me there was a problem, I would not have been able to relate. It wasn't on my radar screen until it happened to me. So that's why I work very hard trying to get on a lot of radio shows. I've done about 320 TV and radio interviews in the last 3 years,
wow.
trying to help raise awareness to people who aren't aware of what's going on. But the chatter is happening. When we passed the Missouri bill 2 years ago in 2023, I had a celebration event. We had 26 legislators come to my event. And to put that in perspective, most Second Amendment rallies or pro-life rallies or events that they have, they're lucky if they get 3, 4, 5 legislators to show up. But when you get 26 legislators on a Sunday night to drive 2.5 hours away from a state capitol for an event, that is huge, huge, huge. And to this day, I was at the state capitol this morning in Missouri, and the chatter, our issue is being talked about just like Second Amendment issues. And it's kind of neat that we now are a premier organization. And, Grover Norquist, who's the, one of the probably, if not number one, then definitely one of the top 3 tax experts in the world with Americans for Tax Reform. And it was kind of neat. He came to St. Louis and I got a phone call saying, hey, would you like to come to dinner with me? I'll be in Missouri. Would like to have dinner with you. So I had dinner with him, but it's kind of neat to realize our issue is now elevated. Matter of fact, I'll be speaking to his group. Every Wednesday morning, he hosts a think tank in Washington, D.C., and there's always representatives from the Trump administration, from the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate, and some of the biggest world leaders that literally fly in every Wednesday morning just to be a part of the think tank. And Grover invited me to speak on Title 4D. So in February, I'll be flying to D.C. as one of the guest speakers at Grover's event, helping to raise our issue to people who have not been aware of it.
What angle on Title 4D are you heading towards? Are you going towards the child support side of things? Or are you going towards the fraud that CPS is doing when they're, they're not promoting reunification, they're promoting more or less termination, but they're still collecting the money? Like, what points are you hitting on with the Title 4D?
Yeah, CPS deals with Title 4E. Custody deals with Title 4D. And so I'll be speaking on Title 4D, although I'm a big supporter of Title 4E reform as well. Because the state shouldn't be involved in and definitely shouldn't be getting financial benefits for ripping kids away from their parents.
Right.
I was a part of the team that helped get Trump to sign the executive order on June 30th, 6 years ago, before he left office, with the kinship that the first priority has to be with reuniting kids in a CPS issue with somebody that's a blood relative of theirs. So I do help out occasionally on that, but my main push is Title 4D, which has created a fatherless society where states are chasing federal grant money for collecting child support. And, it moved from a means-tested program to covering every child support order in the country in 1996. And it was not meant to do that. The initial program was meant to be specifically for means tested. So if the recipient ended up on welfare and the state was paying out welfare benefits, then Title 4D was created to say, hey, if the person isn't paying child support, which is creating a welfare situation, then we're going after them for not paying child support. In 1996, they said, we're going to throw every child support case into Title 4D. So what ended up happening is, if I'm a child support enforcement worker and I get 2 cases on my desk, one is a means tested program. The challenge is, this case, the child support order is probably only $100 or $150 a month. The person isn't paying because they don't have the money. They don't have any savings if I do track them down. They've probably changed apartments 5, 6 times. They've probably changed jobs 5 or 6 times. Right. And even if I do track them down, there's no money to get. Right. But now, after 1996, I have 80% more cases of middle-class people where somebody's a computer programmer, they're an electrician, they're a plumber, and they've had a steady job. All I need to do is garnish their wages, and I look like a hero. And so what's happened is they're basically neglecting all the cases the program was designed for, and they're going after middle class. And the easiest way to do that is increase a child support order. And so one of the things that I've talked to the Trump administration about is getting it back to a means-tested program. Get 80% of those cases cleared out. They shouldn't be there. The government should not be involved in collecting child support. That has nothing to do with the government. They need to get out of that. So, and that was one thing I talked to Vivek Ramaswamy about when I was in D.C. last time, because he's really, unfortunately now he's going to end up running for office. But,
Right.
what I talked to him about at the time of, we could save easily $4 billion a year of the federal budget just by getting Title 4D back to a means tested program instead of a, one size fits all for everything. So I am
Right.
in talks with the Trump administration and a bunch of members of Congress about that's one reform that we're looking at. The other is saying that, hey, states don't get any money until they put the emphasis on time instead of child support. Because right now the emphasis is on the support, and what you're indirectly telling everyone is money is more important than a child. And we need to say, hey, you don't get any performance incentive bonus unless you tell the state that they need to have a law on their books addressing parenting time with the child before they get a child support order. So I want to try and get a directive for that. I do have the administration is much more receptive, not putting down the previous administration, but the previous administration was basically our enemy. Their big key was the Violence Against Women's Act was Joe Biden's claim to fame, which basically wasn't about violence. It was believe the accuser. And yes, there are people who are abused, but you better have some due process. Just because somebody makes an accusation, you don't take the rights away. So, the current administration says, whoa, we're not going to believe every accuser. You better have some proof before you're going to take somebody's rights away. And the new administration, trust me, the new administration really believes in due process after everything they've been through over the last 4 years.
We had Senator Gabe Woolley on with us yesterday, or the day before. Well, no, it was the day before yesterday, and he was talking about the bill that he's put out in Oklahoma. Is changing preponderance amount of evidence, getting rid of that wording and going to clear and convincing evidence is got to be the new standard for them to remove and take children, because preponderance amount of evidence is nothing. It's like I heard that you told me that someone said
50%.1. So yeah.
Right. So that's nothing to remove a child, and so
basically
that's
just means, it could have happened and it may have happened. So yeah, we're going to do it. But exactly that. You don't rip a child's life. I mean, a child's life is their mom and dad, and you rip half of their life away for them. Yeah, you better have a higher standard to do that.
Right.
And a lot of people across the country are getting that now.
No, absolutely. Tiff, what do you got?
Well, yeah, I just turned my mic on because it just got quiet here. So we've been saying this since before Trump got into office, that this administration really is going to make the change for parents, children, these agencies that are literally putting men on the street because they don't care if you live in a cardboard box, but you better have that $250 payment at the end of the month. Do you believe that there's a bill right now by Mr. Scott, Senator Scott, or Congressman Scott, one of them, about fundamental rights?
Yeah, the parental rights bill. Matter of fact, Grover Norquist, that I had dinner with last night, is on the board of directors of the parental rights organization. And that's a big, now that one deals with a lot of Title 4E stuff with CPS, saying, hey, the government can't get involved. And as a parent, the parent should have the right to choose whether their kids gets a vaccine. The parent has a right to choose whether the kids go to a certain doctor or not. The parents have a right to choose, do they want to homeschool, private school, or public school? The parents have a right to dictate what goes on. And so that doesn't affect directly my issue with custody, but it does affect and lean the direction that, wait a minute, the government should not be involved in raising kids. This country wasn't founded with a government. The Department of Education should have never been formed. It was parents that raised their kids for the longest time. So fortunately, we do have an administration that realizes that. But, hey, the government shouldn't be involved. And why are we wasting all these $200,000 and $300,000 administrative salaries in Washington, D.C. for Department of Education instead of put that money for the teachers in the local states who are actually doing the education of these kids? And more importantly, why can't we give the tax benefits of the property tax to the parents who are homeschooling and saying, hey, if you're going to teach your kids, why don't we give you a portion of the money that we would have gone to the school? You're the one teaching your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So did he say if he thought that bill was going to pass? Because I believe it's going to pass.
Yeah, I do think it's going to pass. I think it's going to take some time. Right now, all focus is going to be on the budget bill and on the tax, basically re-inputting the tax bill that Trump put forward with some additions to it. And right now, the Republicans basically have a zero majority right now until the Florida election for the 2 seats that Trump took for his administration. I like Trump, but he's not the best mathematician in the world, realizing that when you have a slim majority, you can't pluck people from U.S. Congress out of there. So those two seats, the special elections, have to take place by April 1st. So right now there's a hold on any major bill at all. Nothing's going to take place at all on a major bill until after April 1st. The first bill is going to be the budget bill that's going to take place. And hopefully that'll be able to be more of a reconciliation. So all efforts are going to be on that bill, and nothing's going to take place until that happens. And there is unfortunately a good chance that because there's such a slim majority of Republicans, that may be the only major bill that gets passed this year. There is going to be a lot of hope to make some traction on other bills, but there's a lot of talk that I was talking to Grover last night, and I've talked to a bunch of other leaders, Tony Perkins that heads Family Research Council, Lisa Nelson that heads the American Legislative Exchange Council. A lot of talk that tax reform bill is going to be the only bill that passes. So right now they're talking about including elements of immigration reform, energy reform, and then the budget items all in one big package, since they know that there's a good chance that might be the only big bill that passes this year. And that'll take place in April when that gets passed.
Hey, you said at the opening of this that 14 out of the 22 vet suicides a year were fathers that have lost their kids from CPS or some sort of situation like that, like their wives have left them or whatever.
Family court system. So they went out and served their country. You know, they gave up time. They come back and find out that, oops, the house is cleaned out and the kids are gone. And the judge says, well, hey, you know, your kids aren't used to seeing you anyway, so you're going to get, if you're lucky, every other weekend visits with them because you've been an absent father. Well, you weren't an absent father. You were serving your country.
Because they made you go to war. Right.
Yeah. And imagine somebody who sacrificed so much for their country, and their whole reason they were doing that is for their family. Now they come back, their family's gone. They're done with their service. And they're thinking, why did I just serve my country?
Right.
So, 14 of the 22 are people who've been involved in some form of a family court dispute.
Yeah, on this channel, we really push for the suicide because there's a high suicide rate in CPS. You know, with the children that are involved in CPS that have been taken, they have a higher suicide rate than any other child that comes out, the kids that have been taken. You know, the fathers have a high suicide rate. You know, all the way right down through the stats, suicide's a huge part of CPS and being involved in the system. What kind of groups do you know of or that you support that help these vets out and with these suicide kids?
I had a conference call yesterday. Eric Lionheart of Texas has a group. I can't think of what his group's name is, but specifically dealing with veteran suicides. And so he and I are going to be working on a project this coming year over the next couple months to try and help raise awareness of how family courts are affecting veteran suicides. But I just had a conference call with Eric. He's a neat guy that's rapidly becoming a major national leader in the veterans issues. But you're right, CPS issues. It's staggering to think how much CPS loves the cash for kids of ripping a child, ripping the parents out of their lives instead of saying, hey, there's a parent who has a situation. Why can't we put that money into helping the parent? So they'll rip a parent out of a child's life because they don't have the funds to provide a nice life. Well, part of that money they were paying to take the kids away from the parents should be spent on those parents. Hey, how can we help them get a better job? How can we let them get better housing? How can we help them get better resources instead of punishing a parent because they don't have the resources? Just absolutely. And the same thing with parents that have substance abuse. Well, let's spend the money trying to get them into programs that will help them get off of some of the substances instead of ripping their kids out of their life. And now they're doubling the amount of substance abuse that they have and have almost no hope of getting off of that.
Right. Well, you're not going to tell me that these tent cities that have popped up, I'm convinced. I don't have any information to back me on this, but I will guarantee you this, that at least 75% of these people in these new tent cities that have popped up everywhere have been involved in CPS one way or the other, have lost their kids, they've lost their will to live, they've lost everything, because of the things that go on. When you lose your kid to CPS, that, you're scorned, you're like the scarlet letter, you know what I mean? Like, people look at you a different way, you're treated differently, for instance, my stuff, all my charges are dismissed, nothing to do with anything with my daughter, but I still lost my daughter, but I can never be around kids for the rest of my life. Never. Yeah. And I didn't even do a damn thing. I did nothing, and this is how it does, but this is what
kid, every kid wants their parents. I don't care if their parents are in jail that's their parents. That's their
Right.
hero. They still want to go to see their parent and get visits with their parents. And
Yep.
the trauma that people go through, that kids go through in that system is just horrific. What you're doing to some of these kids by doing that. So fortunately,
you're
we've
making
got an
victims out of
administration
victims.
we've got an administration that is realizing that we got to get the government out of the government's not involved in raising kids. They're not involved in education. They're not involved in making health decisions. We need to get the government out of our way and let us live our lives.
Yep. I
So,
agree.
Mark, when you go down to DC, you have my information. You need to drop our name so that we can talk to Trump about CPS or his administration, not Trump himself, because I'm sure he's not
I don't even get much
interested.
time with him. I'm very fortunate. One of my best friends, Will Smith, is his legislative assistant. I don't know if you saw the on Inauguration Day, the big ceremony where he was signing all the executive orders, and there was a guy that was kind of balding that had the big black folders, and he would announce, "This is an executive order opening the files of the JFK-KSS." That's my best friend. That's Will Sharp.
Well,
And,
tell Will
that's
Sharp.
Will is
Tiffany
literally
Wise-
every morning in the Oval Office with the president right now. So it's kind of
Okay.
fun to have Will
So
in
Mark, you tell Will, hold on, I'm on a live. You tell Will, Tiffany Wise and Darren need to talk to him, and then we'll talk to him, and he can get our message to Trump.
Yeah, well, I do know Connie regularly is making a lot of progress on CPS issues. Connie and Kathleen Arthur. Matter of fact, Connie's in D.C. again. She literally just took a flight about 2 hours ago.
She's coming on with us Thursday, I believe.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, she's coming on with us Thursday. She's a regular with us.
She is, in my mind, the #1 expert in the country on CPS. Way better than me on CPS issues. I'm not even in her league on Title IV-E. She is, you got a gold mine when you have her on. She is the best in the country on CPS issues, and she's in D.C. on a regular basis. She was just there last week. She was there the week before, and then Kathleen Arthur, one of her friends, goes on her. Well, Kathleen lives in D.C., but the two of them are phenomenal. So you got a gold mine with Connie coming out on Thursday.
Absolutely. No, we're excited for that. Man, this is good stuff. I'm so excited about the fatherless. What's your groups called that you do that you deal with the fatherless society groups? You know, your groups like that.
I've got a couple. I deal quite a bit with the father's rights movement. Most of my stuff is on Facebook, but I work quite a bit with the father's rights movement. They've got about 800,000 on their page. I founded a group called Americans for Equal Shared Parenting, and I've got a Facebook page, and starting to do a lot more on my personal page right now. And then I do a training so that if people say, "Hey, I'd like to get involved in the legislative aspects," I have a page, STL for St. Louis, stlmarkludwig.com, where I've got a training program to teach people how to get legislation passed. Most people have, aside from my 8th grade civics class, have no idea what's a majority whip, what's a majority floor leader, and why do I need to know that? What's the process for passing a law? How do you frame a narrative in 3 minutes or less? How do you get past a gatekeeper? How do you add something on as an amendment to a bill? How do you play defense with the opposition trying? So I take people in a 7-session course session, teaching them step by step everything they need to know. If they know nothing about politics at all, after 40 years of doing this, I take them step by step. So I do have a class. It'll be my last one during the session. So if anybody says, "Hey, I'd like to get involved legislatively," go to stlmarkludwig.com and they'll find out information on the class that I teach.
Well, we're going to definitely have to get in on that for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to need to get hopping in a few minutes here. So unfortunately, with the 31 states, I'm really busy at this point.
Thank you very much.
Tiffany,
thank you so much for your time.
I just been slammed with phone calls nonstop, trying to get all these bills passed.
Yeah, we get it.
It's fine. You were great. You can come on anytime. Just hit me up and let me know so you can keep us updated.
Excellent. But yeah, definitely, like I said, promote the socks off of Connie. She is phenomenal. I love her to pieces.
Yeah, we will. We definitely do. We support her here for sure.
Cool.
So, and look for us because we're going to take that class. You're going to be taking that class, Tiff.
Oh,
yes, excellent. We are. We need to, because I talk to legislators all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
And my brother's a senator. My brother-in-law is a senator.
Oh, wow. Now, which state are you in?
I'm in Virginia, but my brother-in-law is a state senator in Delaware, Eric Buxton.
Okay, excellent. Very good.
So we're growing. We're getting there. All right, Mark. Well, thank you so much for your time, man. We'll be in touch, I'm sure.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on. I sure appreciate it, and definitely looking forward to seeing Connie on there too.
All righty. Have a good
Thank
one,
you.
Mark.
Guys. All right,
Thank you
bye.
very much. Yeah, what a nice man.
Oh, he is nice. When I watched the documentary he was in, oh my God, all those men had me in tears. I'm telling you, because they were just raked over the coals.
Mm-hmm. It's terrible. We used to do when we did that show, Men in Trenches. That was me and Dr. Fowler, and a guy, Mike Barnes, Mike Barnes, right? Was his name Barnes? I think so. Mike Barnes. We started it with Vincent Davis's show, and then we went on to it, and I went on to my own thing, and we did it, and it was good. I mean, it was really good to, guys are supposed to be tough guys. Don't cry about this stuff. This is nothing, and they just build up this emotion and everything that gets stuck in them, and they go on, and unfortunately, a lot of them commit suicide, or they go off the deep end. And they can't handle it. I mean, you can't. Doesn't matter who you are. You take their kids from them. They're still a human being. They still got a heart and soul. And that's just it. And to be a man where you're supposed to be, a strong figure and not supposed to cry and all of this stuff, it's hard. It's very, very hard to keep up with that image, and then to, know in fact in your head that you failed because you let your kids go. You didn't protect your family the way that you were supposed to. You weren't able to do so. So you failed at your job, even though you didn't, but you did. That's
But not really, because it's like David taking on Goliath, right? Unless you know exactly what their playbook is, no parent will win.
Right. And even if you know their playbook, it's still difficult to win inside of this arena. Obviously they're not able to do what they were able to do over the past few years now. I mean, if you're noticing the cases, I know it shows an increase in the national average, but you're not hearing as much of the buzz of them just stealing, but what's scary about that is it's like they have an unlimited checkbook, and they're the ones that create the funds for this country to run off. So if we're not hearing about them, that means that they're all in their back room right now planning on their next moves, the way that they can get around the movements like us. They're telling people how to get around these things. They're trying to figure out how to bust on what we're saying. I mean, they're always steps ahead of us.
They're not talking about anything right now other than how they're going to get their federal funds, because Trump put a lien on it, or stopped it, or froze it, or whatever. But please, if you get benefits, it does not affect you. It does not. I watched the press conference today because I'm like, man, people aren't going to be able to get food. They're not going to be able to get diapers if they get assistance. They're not going to be able to get anything. And the little chick on there, she's 27. She said it is not going to affect any benefits that people get personally. It only affects colleges. It only affects the people. They're looking at all the funds, and CPS funds is one of them. Child support is another one, because they get federal funds.
Right. So anybody that's receiving funds through DHHS, they're stopping there, but nothing that's life driving, like life dependent. They're not doing that for me. Right. I got you.
Right.
So don't be scared about that.
Right. Because my daughter called me and was like, oh my God, Mom, I got this text message and it says that because her baby gets WIC. And I said, man, stop listening to all that. And she's like, well, it says there's a freeze, but your WIC will not be affected. I said, why'd you call me?
Right. What? I just got dumb. You made me dumb by talking to you right now.
So why'd you call me?
Unbelievable. Man. So now I got to pressure on Connie. I got to be like, Connie, we announced it on the show that you're going to be on Thursday, so now you can't come back on this one. So
that's right.
As we put it out here first. And then we got February 14th is going to be like flying up on us, Tiff.
Yeah, so we need to talk about February 14th.
Uh-oh.
No, nothing bad. So we need to figure out who is going to be on, because we have to have a time limit. Right? Like, everybody has, I'm just throwing numbers out here because it depends on how many people get on. And let's say we get 15 people. Everybody gets like 2.5 minutes, right, to say what they want to say. Or we have 4 people, like me, you, Gunner, Brenda, all the hosts, and we get 15 minutes. I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
Right. So we take 60 minutes. We're gonna have to divvy it up how we do, or we could even be longer if we had to be. But I get
Correct.
what you're saying. So we'll know if you guys want to be on the show. How about if you leave comments in here that you guys will be on here for February 14th, so we can get an idea of who will be. You know, how many people at least. You don't have to. You know, don't commit 1,000% to it. We're gonna hold you right to it, but let's just get a roundabout number of how many people will be attending this and how many slots we have to do it. Right. We'll just divvy up an hour divided by however much we got to do, or however.
And
But
if you do want to come on and you don't want your face to be seen, just keep your camera off.
That's right. Voice on.
Yeah, voice on, camera off.
Speaking. So Tammy keeps saying something about where's Wendy Thomas, and then she says, "Let's all pray for Wendy Thompson." What's going on with Wendy Thomas?
I don't even know who that is.
I think she's talking about my Wendy Thomas that we have on the show from time to time. But also, if we could all pray for Gunner and his family, because Gunner's not doing well right now. He's very sick. That's why he wasn't on the other day. So he could definitely use some prayer warriors for sure, because he's having a hard time. So if everybody could just give Gunner some thoughts and some prayers and get him back up and running well, and that would be really good. He'd really appreciate it because he could really use it, guys.
What does he have? The norovirus?
I don't know what he's got going on, but it's not good. He's got some. I don't even know if they want you to talk about it, but
that's okay.
He's got complications with his heart, and yeah, he got that cold and everything, and now it's complicating his things.
Wow.
So we all get their prayers for him. Damn. Yeah, Benny, you will be there for sure. We know you'll be there, Benny. You might have to put a mute on your stuff for a minute. Who knows what we're going to have to do with Benny. I hope Benny starts his with, "Mr. Trump, weed the people." All right, then he says Gunner's home now and he's resting, so that's good. See, the prayers work, guys. That quick. There he is. So that's good. But still pray for him because he really needs it. I'm excited for the Valentine's Day, though. It's going to be exciting. It'll be like our first real event, and then we can kick off our webinars from that, you know. Tammy's going to be there. Perfect. So there's 2. We got 2. 2's better than none. You know, so that's good.
And then we need to, because I know he's on the X. I don't know. Yeah. He's on Facebook. He's on Truth Social.
Yeah, that's his, right? Truth Social is his thing,
yeah.
Right?
So everybody needs to get some accounts, you know.
Yeah.
Even me. I'm gonna have to figure this out. But and we need to and the White House link email is comments at whitehouse.gov. I'll have to relook it up.
Let's look this up, Tiff, for
you. So we want everybody, because I'm sure all the shows go live when each person hosts their own show. Everybody that watches all the shows need to send the video, because the more people we have to send it, at least one person's video is going to be seen.
Let's see.
I think it's comments.whitehouse.gov. Comments at White House. I had it earlier.
Send your comments to comments@whitehouse.gov.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Yeah, just comments@whitehouse.gov.
Yes.
I wonder if I can get us t-shirts made by then.
You got 16 days.
I mean, I know I could get them made. I wonder if I can get them shipped in time.
I don't know.
I I don't know either. But yeah, the comments. So we should let them know too that we're going to do this. Maybe I'll design up a letter. Everybody just go to comments@whitehouse.gov and let them know on Valentine's Day we're sending a message.
Yep.
We can do that too.
And we're going to send it to all the platforms, the X one, the Truth, whatever, Facebook. And I even think the White House is on the one with the camera.
Which one is that?
If you scroll down on whitehouse.gov,
Yeah.
the X is on there, the Facebook thing is on there, and then the one that's got like a camera. I'm not sure what that is.
Okay.
Oh, it
They have
might
a
be
phone number.
Instagram.
Oh yeah, Instagram. Yep.
Yeah. So they're on Instagram.
Do you know that? Okay, so listen, this is why it's important that everybody does it. It says that the White House gets 65,000 paper letters every week. They get something like 100,000 emails, 1,000 faxes, 2,500 to 3,500 calls per day. So we need to pump them in, guys. Pump in the Tiff and Punisher show. Do everything that we got to do.
Even if you send them every day.
Yes. Every day we will send them, let them know that we're doing this. How many? You know what? I'll design a little thing too, a little card, so they know that it's from us. Write your letter. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. Wow. Okay. I'm looking at the White House. Oh, look at the picture of Trump there. America is back, it says. Isn't that nice?
Did you see him in the
Wow, look at that picture of
the
Melania.
Godfather? Oh yeah, you saw him in the Godfather hat and suit, didn't you?
Oh yeah, he means business. Do you think he's excited to be in the White House again? Or do you think he's like, yeah, I'm going back to the White House?
But Trump took my shit. Fuck around and find out. Okay, he took my saying. Yes, FAFO.
Yeah. And you know what? He gets his new Air Force One too, right? I don't think Biden got to take the new Air Force One, the one that he designed. I think Trump gets it.
Yeah, and Biden changed the colors back to the original, and Trump's probably going to change them back to what he wanted them.
Did he really? Biden really changed it?
Yeah. He signed an executive order that said it had to stay the same color that JFK put on it. But Trump wanted it like like a red and white or something. I don't know.
That was slick looking, man. That one, I mean, either way, Air Force One is a badass vehicle anyway. I mean, have you ever seen it? You've obviously seen it, right? Like, it's just a bad machine. Like, when you see that thing in person, just to know what it stands for and like what it is. So I get the color scheme and everything. It's been held on for so long, but I think Trump was right in that, and it was time for some change.
It is time for change. And I've been telling everybody, and even before people who doubted me, I don't know, Tiffany, Trump's not going to make it. I said, I'm telling you, Trump's going to make it. In 2024 was the year of reckoning. 2025 through 2029, or actually 8, is going to be the years for accountability and change.
Man, it is. It's going to be a good year. I feel it. I'm glad that we're doing this too. And what the hell is this? News of the White House: protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation. Presidential action.
Nobody under the age of 18 can have a transgender surgeries.
Reinstating service members discharged under the military COVID-19 vaccination mandate.
With back pay.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to get us in medical misinformation here.
Oh no, the executive order says they will be reinstated and you will back pay them.
Restarted mandate. The vaccine mandate was unfair, overboard, and completely unnecessary burden on our service members. Further, the military unjustly discharged those who refused the vaccine, regardless of the years of service given to our nation. After failing to grant many of them an exemption that they should have received, federal government redress of any wrongful dismissals is overdue. See, this is what they need to do to parents that have lost their kids on, the wrong way. They need to resend it back. They need to give us our kids back. I mean, there's a lot of other issues that go with that too. I mean, it's, but that's what they need to do.
Well, I'm excited for the next 4 years. So let's see what he really does. Let's get this video done. Let's get it out. And if everybody has to, like I said, send that bitch every day. I'll send it every day. I don't care. Secret Service can knock on my door. I don't give a fuck.
Well, they might. Maybe they'll take you in for an interview. I don't know Tiffany Wise, Secret Service. I don't know her. So, I don't know. But all right, Tiff. We'll be here same time, same place tomorrow.
All right.
And, one day closer to Valentine's Day.
Yep.
All right.
See you later.
See you later. Don't forget, 10 o'clock tonight, CPS Victims on Injustice. We'll be on here. Have a good night, Tiff.
Bye.
We have the freedom to own a gun, but we are blowing it. These freedoms were created by those before us. They were to be something that stays. But now things are so corrupted, they're taking our rights away. Hey, Uncle Sam, where did you go? I called Washington today, but nobody's home. We all want to stand for our freedom, but nobody wants to do it today. Can't you see time is a waste and the Constitution we love is fading? Make no tread on the reality, or the USA will be the next casualty. We are here for freedom, those we will protect. Unite for the values we cherish, but watch everything perish. Our men have fought for our freedoms, many women have too. Their blood spilled upon the ground, with the news many frown. They paid a price that many won't pay, now we are letting the cause fade away. The graves are being neglected by the actions of so many deceptive. The freedoms they fought for in every world war, conflict or mission. So many stayed behind signing petitions, while those away dying were there to protect them. It's time to wake up in the USA.
Everybody who's left sitting here, I got to show you this video that Vinny just sent me. Hold on 1 second. This is something. This is something right here. This is what the police did to Vinny when he was in the. When they came and got him for his. Here we go. I'm going to share this with you guys. Now, if any of you guys don't know who Vinny is, Vinny's the host of my show at nighttime here. There you go.
How old is he?
How old was he?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hey, Vinny. Can you come outside here, please? Can you come outside the door, please? Yes.
Yeah. You're gonna have to.
You come outside the door. We'll come back in. All right. You are under arrest. You're violating your bail for being here.
Let's go, Tim.
Let's go. Out.
Turn around, put your hand behind your back. Put your hand behind your back.
Not violating it? What the fuck, man? My attorney.
Put your hands behind your back.
My attorney.
Put your hands behind your back.
My attorney knows where I am.
Vinny.
Stop resisting.
Stop fighting.
Put your hand behind your back. Stop, or I'm gonna drive stun you. Do you understand that? You're gonna get hit by a taser if you don't stop.
Vinny. You have bail conditions because
I know it. My lawyer knows where I am.
Vinny,
You're gonna get tased. Put your hand behind your back.
Vinny, put your hand
Put your hand behind your back. Hand behind your back.
21, I copy you're in a fight.
Ollie, get over here! Ollie, go! Out back now! Shut the drawer! Go out back! Shut the window! Out back! Now!
PJ,
Copy
can
one.
you go over to Hannaford to let my wife know?
Huh?
Roll over on your side.
Can you go?
I'm going over Hannaford to let his wife know.
Can you sit up?
Roll over on your butt.
Sit up.
Stand up.
Right now.
Is that your phone?
Yes, that's his phone.
Yeah, can I get my stuff out of my pocket, please?
Where is it? What do you...
Front pocket, dude.
Yep, we're going.
Where exactly is he? Wyndham 21.
Okay, I'm taking your gloves off, alright?
Go ahead. Just confirming you're at the
Just because you're male.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're in the kitchen. We're all set. Copy. In the kitchen, but you're all set. Next copy.
Anything on you that's sharp?
No.
Any weapons?
No.
We're going to continue.
It says it on my thing that I work.
Okay, I just called the district attorney's office and he confirmed that it does not have that on there.
It does, that's my attorney.
I'm just telling you what
I report to him every week.
That's fine.
What's this?
Cigarettes. Hey, Nick, can you please make sure my wife gets my stuff?
I'll bring your wallet and phone.
No, you're not. No.
Okay.
Stays here, remains here, please.
Okay.
It's untuck your shirt, okay? Any jewelry on you or anything?
No. My lighter in my pocket. John, can you take my stuff and put it in the office, please?
Anything else on you I didn't find?
Nope.
Sunglasses will be on.
Are they right there?
Put that in the pocket.
Yep, if he wants it in there, he can.
My wallet, too.
All right.
All right. Iris can go right in the front seat.
Just want to slow it down if you have to. Well set. Fish coffee. What else, fish con? Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have anything else here that you need to do?
6 and 8 arrived.
Okay.
And I teamed up in a car. We're heading up there.
What's he doing? I don't know. Extra.
Yep, you can do that after dinner.
Can't hurt.
6, did you advise you and 8 are on scene?
Expected.
No, we're en route.
All right.
Sorry to get you guys
No?
into that.
I'll follow
So
you
I
up
will
until it's
probably
West.
need a report from you guys.
Yeah.
Let me get you my phone.
Was she a cop just dressed in regular clothes?
Wow.
She was in
So there you go, everybody. That's what they just did to Vinny.
Yeah.
Or not just did. That's what they did to him a couple months ago. So wake up, America. Have a good night, everybody.
It's getting worse every day. Now they are taking our children more and more every day. No soldier ever fought for taking our children away. This is not why they bled for our freedom. They didn't die for some cheap pay. We all need to come together and fight this corruption. And it starts today. We need to wake up, America. Go back to parades. Remember true family values. Laugh again as children play. These are the things we fought for. 200 years strong, but now we're losing all of this. Don't tread on me does exist. So rise up and be strong. We don't have to go along. We need to push back now, like our forefathers did. It's time to bring back the way it was, when families lived together, all that mattered was love. It's not always easy to take back what they have grabbed. With all of us together we can do it. Two loving children and mom and dad. This is our country, it's called USA. So many have fallen, say don't tread on me today. It's time to wake up in the USA. We are all slipping away into the darkness we once ran from. It's getting worse every day. Now they are country, it's called